So let's get started. So my name is Laura Reyes, and I'm the admissions manager and recruiter for the Honors College. I want to say welcome to all the honors pathers to our final new student workshop. So we have two handles. We had at FIU Honors and at FIU Honors Nations. If you're not following it yet, we do recommend for you to follow it. We do provide a lot of information, especially at FIU Honors. FIU Honors Nations is more of a way for you to get to know each other and new honor students that are coming in, while at FIU Honors, it's where we put a lot of the information we provide to our students. And with that being said, I'm going to pass the mic along to Ezekiel.
Hey everyone, like Laura said, my name is Ezekiel Cuevas. I'm one of our honors advisors in the Honors College. And for my portion, we'll be talking a little bit about the academic side of things and also some of the benefits. So starting with that, the first one you see is priority registration. So when you begin in fall and you're starting to enroll for your spring classes and moving forward, you will be having priority registration. In addition to that, you'll have individualized advising, which you'll have a major advisor who can assist you with your major questions and other non-honors courses, and then you'll also have an honors advisor who can assist you with your honors course questions, and also any type of planning for postgraduate goals can be discussed in those advising sessions as well. In addition to that, we do have competitive scholarships as well as extended library privileges that students have the ability to use. In terms of the library privileges, you can extend your checking out of books for a longer period of time than other students at FIU. We do have exclusive housing and spaces. We do have career opportunities as well as our own career services within the Honors College. We do have engagement opportunities, and we'll talk a little bit more about that during this session today. And we do have pre-health programs as well. And so to introduce the team, we do have Dr. Brenda Luna, who is our Assistant Director of Academic Advising Services and also oversees the pre-med early assurance programs. Like I said earlier, my name is Ezekiel Cuevas. I am the non-STEM honors advisor, and I specifically work with pre-law students as well. Jamima Judy is our STEM student advisor, and in particular, she works with pre-med and pre-health tracks. And we have Madeline Pena, who also works with our STEM student advising and works in specifics with our engineering track students. And so before we get into the curriculum, if any of you have a pre-professional interest, whether that's pre-med, pre-law, pre-vet, any type of pre-professional interest, we do encourage you to declare that with the steps that you see on the screen right here. And the reason we say that is because if you do have one of those pre-professional interests, by declaring it, we can ensure that you are assigned to an honors advisor who can help you to that maximum potential, whether it's for pre-law, pre-health, or any type of pre-professional interest. So if you can, please take a photo of this slide if that pertains to you, so that way you can remember the steps and you can go ahead and declare that. And so that way we can assign you to the correct honors advisor when the time comes. All right, so let's get into the Honors College curriculum. So we're going to start on the left side of the screen with those of you that are freshmen that are coming in and do not have your AA yet. So your year one is going to consist of 7 credits total, and your fall semester typically will start with IDH 1931 and IDH 1001. Okay, so those are 2 classes that you're going to be taking in the fall semester. And once you finish that semester, then you're going to be moving into the spring semester and taking IDH 1002. What's important to know about this is that IDH 1001 and IDH 1002 are a year-long course. So IDH 1002 is a continuation of IDH 1001, and the day and time that you end up selecting or have already selected for that class is the same day and time that you will be taking that class in the spring. So just keep that in mind, that when you're enrolling for your spring classes, to plan around taking IDH 1002 at the same time that it was for IDH 1001 in the fall semester. So once you finish your year one, then you'll be moving into year two. And so you have a variety of options for upper division honors courses that you can take in year two. So the first option is seminars, which are IDH 3034 and 3035. And those are based on a variety of different topics, and we'll show you an example of what that looks like in a few slides. And those are offered every semester. They're offered in the fall, in the spring, and in the summer semester. The only difference between the 2 course codes is when they take place. So IDH 3034 takes place in fall and summer A, while IDH 3035 takes place in spring and summer B. So that's one of your options for upper divisions. Your second option is ARCH, IDH 4905, and that's our Advanced Research and Creativity and Honors Program, which we'll be talking about in a little bit. But essentially, you get to choose the research topic you're most interested in and produce some type of outcome for it. And there's different pathways for that. So we'll discuss that in a little bit. And then your third option is Honors Study Abroad, which is IDH 4007 and IDH 4008. The way that program works is in the spring semester, you would take IDH 4007, which is a class about the trip you will be going on eventually in the summer, and IDH 4008 is a class about the trip itself when you actually travel to the country abroad. So two separate courses, each count as 3 credits for the Honors College. And so once you finish your year 2, we move into year 3, and you have those same options. And so that's the freshman curriculum in a nutshell for those of you that are not coming in with your AA. Now, let's move over to the right side where we do have, or where we'll be discussing the curriculum for those of you that are freshmen that are coming in with your associate's degree, those of you that might be transfer students, or those of you that are already current FIU students. This is pertaining to you. So your first year, what you'll be looking at taking is IDH 3034 and 3035. Those are our seminar courses. And again, we'll show you in a little bit, what we mean by having all these different topics. And so your first year is going to be 3034 and 3035. And when we move forward to year 2, you're going to notice some of the same options that we talked about previously. You have IDH 3034 and 3035 options again, just picking a different topic than you did for the first 2. Your second option would be to participate in our ARCH program, and the third option would be our Study Abroad program. All right, so for those of you that are part of the engineering computing school at FIU, this is going to be specifically for you. And the reason why we have it separately is because there's a few different variations to the curriculum for those of you that are in those majors and those of you that aren't. So starting with our engineering computing students who are freshmen with no AA, your first year is going to be the same as those that are not in those majors. So your fall is going to be typically IDH 1931 and IDH 1001. And your spring semester is the continuation of IDH 1001, which is IDH 1002. Again, remember that class is a continuation, and it'll be during the same days and times as IDH 1001 in the fall semester. So then moving forward, when we start talking about year 2, you have the same options as those of you that are not in engineering computing, but you'll notice that we have seminars IDH 2003 and IDH 2004. That's another option for courses that we have, but only certain students qualify for that class. So those of you that are pending Social Science Group 2 and Global Learning Foundations after your first year in honors qualify for that class. You don't need to ask us if you qualify. We actually run a campaign on our own end where we will notify you if you qualify for that class. And if you do, then we encourage you to sign up because it's going to help you satisfy some of those requirements that you're still pending at that point. But again, for year 2, for the most part, a lot of you will be either choosing from seminars, from ARCH, or Study Abroad, and then a few of you might be doing seminars 2003 and 2004. And then when we look at our third year, this is where we see that variation. You see that it says ARCH IDH 4905 and not the seminars and the Study Abroad. The reason for that is because a lot of you in your majors are going to be taking classes like Senior Design or Capstone. And the cool thing is that one of our pathways in the ARCH program is the Honors in the Major pathway. And the way that works is you're going to be producing some type of project at the end of those Senior Design or Capstone courses, and you can actually use the work that you do in that and submit it as well for IDH 4905 credit at the same time. So you're going to be essentially doing those 2 courses concurrently, and that works out best for you. And we'll show you in the next slide soon which classes or which majors have 2 ARCH concurrent courses, which ones have 1 concurrent course, and which ones don't have any. But that'll be after we go over the next part on the right side, which is for those of you that are engineering computing students with an AA, or you're transferring in, or you're a current FIU student already. So year 1, again, you're going to be taking 3034 and 3035. And then in year 2, you're going to notice those 3 different options. But again, we encourage you to participate in ARCH because you're going to be taking the classes for Senior Design and Capstone anyway, so you might as well do them concurrently with ARCH at the same time. And so this was the slide I was referring to in terms of how many of you will be having senior design courses or capstone courses that are concurrent with Arch. And so for those of you that are engineering computing, please take a photo of this. You'll notice that a lot of the majors within the college have 2 Arch IDH 4905 courses that are concurrent, right? So that means you maybe have Senior Design 1, Senior Design 2, or Capstone 1 and Capstone 2. For those of you that have one Arch concurrent course, your third option would end up being taking another seminar, maybe study abroad, or your own Arch project that you would do separately from your senior designer capstone. And then for those of you that have no concurrent Arch courses, it would be similar to those that aren't part of engineering computing. You would just decide which of the upper division courses we mentioned earlier interests you most at that point. And so before I get into the equivalency chart, that's why we encourage you to meet with an honors advisor as soon as we are assigned to you in the fall semester. That will probably be around the 4th week of the fall semester. So it won't be immediately after today's workshop, but we do encourage you to meet with us when we are assigned on Panther Success Network to discuss your honors plans and to come up with, your schedule for honors courses in future semesters so that we can make sure you stay on track for timely graduation and success in the honors college. So going to the equivalency chart, you're probably wondering, where do all these classes count for? And so we're going to go through each one now. So IDH 1931 is equivalent to your first year experience class for SLS 1501. IDH 1001 is equivalent to the arts credit of the university core curriculum. And then IDH 1002 will cover your humanities group 2 and a Gordon rule with writing. Moving forward to the 2003 2004, like we mentioned earlier, we'll email you if you qualify for this class for those of you that are engineering computing. But IDH 2003 will satisfy your social science group 2 and your global learning foundations requirement. And IDH 2004 will satisfy global learning foundations and a lower division elective requirement. And then going to your upper divisions, you'll notice that IDH 3034 and 3035 satisfy the same requirement, which is the global learning discipline specific and an upper division elective. And based on your major, it can count for different things as well. So again, meet with your honors advisor once we're assigned in that 4th week. So that way you can figure out how honors fits with your major in particular. And so earlier I mentioned that we were going to talk about those IDH 3034 and 3035 courses. If you scan the QR code on the screen, it's going to take you to our course selection page where you can actually see all the topics that we've offered previously in the summer semester and also for the upcoming fall semester. So clearly we offer a bunch of different topics, history, culture, and the arts, technology and innovation, all types of different topics. And you get to choose whichever one you're most interested in when it is time for you to take these upper divisions. It doesn't have to be necessarily related to your major directly. It could be, it doesn't have to be. So usually when we talk about these courses, we really encourage you to take what interests you most at the time of enrollment. And when we talk about honors registration, there's a few things to keep in mind. And one of those things being that some courses require department permission or consent. So beginning with the first one, specialized intro courses, IDH 1931 for the fall, we do have some sections that have particular pre-professional interests. So it could be pre-med, pre-law, undergraduate research, engineering. And so if any of you have tried enrolling for an IDH 1931 and come across an issue of not being able to enroll, it's because one of these sections is a pre-professional interest that's required. So just keep that in mind that some of those sections do require permission or consent. In addition to that, we do have seminars that are limited to eligibility or an application. So for example, for 3034, we do have a class called Challenges in Healthcare, where there is an application process. And the way that you would know if a class has some type of department permission or consent is by clicking on the class lecture notes when searching for that class on MyFIU. So you'll know which ones are requiring eligibility. The grand majority don't require that, but there are a few that do, so just keep that in mind. And then for our study abroad programs and our research program in Arch, both of those have an application process. So it's not that you can just type those up at FIU and enroll for them automatically. There are formal application processes for each of them, and those will be discussed at least a little bit today from our study abroad coordinator and our Arch program manager. So just keep in mind that you won't be able to enroll for that on your end. There is an application. And so all new honor students must be enrolled in a 3-credit honors IDH seminar course for fall 2024. So we talked about it a little bit earlier. For those of you that are freshmen coming in with no AA, You'll be taking IDH 1001 and IDH 1931 for the most part. And then those of you that are freshmen with your AA, transfer students or current FIU students, you'll be starting with IDH 3034. So no matter what, you need to be enrolled in a 3-credit honors course. And then in addition to that, honor students must complete a minimum of 4 upper division IDH courses as listed in the advising syllabus to complete honors. Upper division meaning level 3,000 or 4,000 level IDH courses. So again, we encourage you to meet with your honors advisor once we're assigned to you, so that way we can start talking about how to shape your honors curriculum. All right, so let's talk about good standing in the Honors College, right? So what is good academic standing? So one of our policies is continuous enrollment in the Honors College coursework until their academic requirements are met. So students inactive in the Honors College for over 3 semesters without prior approval will be dismissed from the Honors College. So I'll give you an example. For those of you that will be taking IDH 1002 in spring of 2025, if after that class you decide not to take an honors class for a whole year, including spring of 2026, we would consider you inactive and remove you from the honors college at that point. So it's really important that you consistently take honors classes and meet with your honors advisor to ensure that that policy won't affect you. Then our next policy is new students must enroll in those in an honors seminar, 3 credits in their first semester in the honors college, which we mentioned earlier, and failure to enroll will result in rescinding your admission. So it's really important that you do end up enrolling in your honors courses for the upcoming fall semester. Students who drop an honors course are automatically dropping out of the honors college. Exceptions may be made under extenuating circumstances, but the drop must be approved and processed by an honors advisor. So if you are planning to drop an honors class, you need to meet with the honors advisor to talk about it and see what the best course of action is moving forward. So just keep that in mind. Other aspects of good academic standing. So students who earn a non-passing grade of a D or less in an IDH course are immediately dismissed from the honors college. So again, that pertains to specifically IDH honors courses. In addition to that, students in the honors college must maintain a minimum 3.3 overall FIU GPA. If for one reason or another your GPA falls below the 3.3 requirement, we will be placing you in honors academic probation. What does that mean? You still have all the same perks that honors students have outside of probation, but what that means is that you have 3 semesters from the time that you're placed on probation to raise your overall cumulative FIU GPA to a 3.3. If you're still below the 3.3 after 3 semesters, you would be dismissed from the honors college at that point. If you're able to raise your GPA to a 3.3 or above after that year, then your probation will be removed. But just keep in mind that if your GPA did fall under a 3.3 a second time, then you would be immediately dismissed from the honors college at that point. All right. So enough about the good academic standing. Let's talk about how graduating through the honors college works. So first, you need to complete your bachelor degree requirements. So those are your major requirements, UCCs, all that kind of stuff. You also need to complete the honors curriculum. You also need to complete your honors engagement and volunteer hour requirements, which we'll talk about a little later in this presentation. Eventually, when you do decide to apply for graduation, you also need to complete the honors college graduation application. You do need to earn at least a 3.0 average GPA in honors IDH courses specifically, and then you need to earn a 3.3 cumulative FIU GPA or greater in order to graduate through the honors college. And some of the benefits, so honors graduation ceremony. So there's the commencement ceremony, but a couple of weeks or a week before that, we do have an honors graduation ceremony / assembly that we do. And in that assembly, you'll be receiving your honors college medallion, tassel, and certificate of completion. You also do get recognized at commencement as honor students, and you do end up getting a transcript notation indicating that you successfully completed the honors college at FIU. And with that, I'll pass it along to Alan Varela and Arch.
Thank you, Ezekiel, and hello, everyone. My name is Alan Varela. I'm the Assistant Director of Academic Support Services and Undergraduate Research with FIU Honors College. And one of my responsibilities is leading the Advanced Research and Creativity and Honors program. After today's workshop, you will know that research is everywhere and for everyone, no matter what anybody else may have said otherwise. you will know research is everywhere and for everyone. So the Advanced Research and Creativity and Honors Program, or ARCH, is the opportunity for you to engage in independent research or creative works with a faculty mentor here in FIU. ARCH is open to all academic disciplines and to all honors college students, freshman, sophomore, junior, senior, whether you are coming in as a current transfer, external transfer, or FTIC, ARCH is open to you. Why? Because again, research is everywhere and for everyone. We offer several ways for honors college students to participate in the ARCH program with our wide selection of ARCH pathways. And you can find more information about the ARCH program on the website, honors.fiu.edu/ARCH. So what are ways that you can participate in the ARCH program? So there is the Honors in the Major ARCH pathway. This is where if, let's say, you will be completing research or a creative, innovative work, that will be counted in your degree program, whether this be the senior design or the capstone in engineering and computer science, as mentioned before in this workshop. If, let's say, you would like to have said project count for honors college academic credit as well, you can do so through the Honors in the Major ARCH pathway. There is also the psychology honors thesis, the honors in biology program, the undergraduate research requirement in the Bachelor of Science degree program for chemistry. But if, let's say, that you are not going to be working on an independent project, a capstone or senior design or senior project or a senior thesis in your degree program, but would instead like to engage in a research experience where you are going to be collecting original data or working with a mentor who plans to work on an ongoing project involving original data collection. There is the ARCH thesis pathway. This is a year-long pathway where you get that experience of what it is like to engage in research as a graduate student. You also get the opportunity to write a graduate level thesis by the end of the spring term that is eligible for publication in the FIU Undergraduate Research Journal, which I will talk about in my ARCH breakout session later today. Now, if let's say though, okay, that does sound interesting, but I'm not yet ready to write a graduate level thesis, are other options available to me. So there's also the ARCH proposal pathway. If let's say that you have an idea, but you're not yet certain of how you'll move forward with collecting the original data, whether if you're going to be writing a thesis or if it would be instead something along the lines of an extended literature review, or if it's going to be something to where you're going to be working on archive data, published data. There is ARCH proposal where it's up to 1 semester. And with this option, you would be writing by the end of the fall term a proposal instead of a thesis. Now, please note that the ARCH thesis pathway does require that completion of the ARCH proposal pathway. Again, it is a year-long pathway where you complete the proposal, then the thesis, but you have the option of completing the ARCH proposal pathway only. Now, if you've, let's say, as I've mentioned before, would rather work on an extended literature review, you want to work on a creative work, you want to write a poem, a book, make a painting, a business plan for a new company, you want to propose your own written work. We had one alum who made a portfolio showcasing several color patterns on walls to explain how specific color patterns elicit positive moods from tenants and apartments, and was going to expand that to commercial buildings. So there's the ARCH project pathway. That is also for up to 1 semester. But if, let's say, you are thinking of, well, that's all sounding really exciting, but I'm not really yet sure if I want to write a thesis or make a painting or make a business plan, because I don't know if this is something that I want to do as a career. I've never been in a lab before or worked with a faculty mentor, so I'd like to first see what it's like before even deciding upon whether to move forward with one of the other pathways. So ARCH Apprenticeship is available where you are gaining basic research experience with a mentor, whether in a lab space or not. It focuses more on reflection, when you are not expected or required to work on an independent project. You may be working on an independent project or contributing to research, or you could be participating in journal club meetings. You may be shadowing the mentor or one of their graduate students. But again, the primary goal with Arch Apprenticeship is deciding whether or not you would want to continue on with, let's say, working with this mentor, gaining more research experience, and if you wanted to move forward with a, let's say, hypothetically a PhD program or an advanced degree program or to a career in research, and or maybe you don't, and better to know early than later on in life. So you will find more information about these pathways in my Arch breakout session. And although I'd love to talk more about undergraduate research, I will leave it with here that never forget, research is everywhere and for everyone. I will now turn it over to my colleague, Ms. Nicole Patrick, who will talk to you about the Honors College Study Abroad and Study USA programs.
Thank you so much, Alan. So hi, everybody, and welcome to the Honors College. And I'm going to talk to you about your opportunities that you have to study abroad with honors. So we have a total of 8 different programs, and these programs are all faculty-led. So what that means is that you are in a group of FIU honors students. It could be anywhere from 12 to 22 students in the group, and you travel with an FIU Honors College professor to a different destination to take an honors class there while you travel for anywhere from 3 to 6 weeks. And then our programs, we really try to take care of almost everything in the program. So where you're staying, what you're doing, like your different museums that you may go to, or different activities like hiking, or the different experiences that you have. We take care of all of that. So now let's get into where our programs are. So like I said, we have 8. So our programs are in Costa Rica, Spain, the United Kingdom, France, Italy, Nepal, Thailand, Vietnam, Cambodia, and Japan. So there's many different options and opportunities for you to study abroad, and each one is different. So that's really great that you can kind of choose which one works best for you. So now let's talk about how they work. So the programs are in a 2-semester format. So what that means is that you're going to be taking a total of 2 classes for your study abroad program. The first one takes place in the spring semester, and that's your pre-travel course. So that's when you're going to be learning all of the background information, a lot of the history, and really preparing for when you take the second course, which that is the actual travel portion. And that class takes place in the summer semester. So it's 2 semesters long. First class is in the spring on campus, and then the second class is in the summer, and that's abroad. So a total of 2 classes, 6 credits. Okay, so how it works. So the whole process starts about 9 months in advance. So there is an application process where you would apply for the program that you're interested in. And then during those 9 months leading up to the travel, you would be making payments and installments for your program. And during that time, the Honors College will be taking care of booking your accommodations, all of the transportation within the program, and also all of the different activities that you'll be doing. Something important to note is that airfare is not included in the program cost. So that is something that students do need to pay out of pocket for. And that's because a lot of times students like to travel either before or after their program. And also sometimes students have airline preferences. So maybe if you want to use a certain airline, you can do that. Or if you want to take advantage of the fact that you're already in Europe and want to spend an extra month after your program traveling, then you can do that. There's nothing forcing you to stay or to return to Miami at the end of your program. Then there's also the enrollment in the classes. And then also there is some additional steps once you're in the program, because you are traveling internationally for the university. So some things like having a passport, maybe getting a visa, and then also getting checked by a doctor to make sure that you can participate in the program and all the activities that are included. And so last thing is to travel and to learn. So like I was saying, there is an application process. So as part of that, there is certain eligibility requirements for our students. First thing is being in good honor standing. So like Advisor Ezequiel Cuevas was talking about, he has already gone over what does that mean to be in good honor standing. Then you need to have a minimum FIU GPA of 3.3. You cannot delay your graduation date by participating in our programs. And the final thing is that you cannot get into excess credits by participating in our program. So that's something that we're going to look at when you apply for study abroad, is that we're going to make sure that you don't get into excess credits, and that you'll graduate on time. And so that way you won't end up having to pay an additional fee for taking these classes. Okay, so now when to apply. So depending on, I guess, your status, you'll have a different timeline. So for students who are already part of FIU and now you're joining the Honors College in the fall, you can start applying for a study abroad program as early as the fall. For transfer students, you can apply as early as after you complete your first semester at FIU. And the reasoning for that is that you do need to have an FIU GPA in order to determine your eligibility. So as soon as you complete your first semester at FIU, you can apply. And then for the first year students, it is recommended that you participate after your first year in honors. So that way you complete your lower division curriculum. And then when you have the upper division, then you can choose to do study abroad. And then first year students who are entering with an AA, you're in a similar situation as transfer students, where you wait until after you complete your first semester at FIU to apply to a study abroad program. So the important thing is to plan ahead. With travel in general and just with study abroad, there is a lot of logistics and planning that goes into it. So it is important to now start thinking about when is the time that I want to participate in a program, or where is it that I want to go to. So these are the questions that you may need to start thinking about, and then also saving some money as you're preparing to go. Claudia, I think we might have missed a slide about the costs. Yes, that one. Okay, so like I was saying, there are payments that you have to make for study abroad programs. Unfortunately, travel is not free. And so we want to make sure that you know all of the information prior to signing up, or, so that way you can plan ahead. So there's 3 different costs associated with study abroad. The first one is your program cost. That ranges from $3,000 to $6,000, depending on the program, their length, and where you're going. The tuition for all of the programs is in-state tuition for both the spring class and the summer class. And then the final cost is the education abroad fee, which is an administrative fee that goes for all study abroad programs at FIU. And there are many, many scholarships available. So we highly recommend that you apply to as many as you're eligible for. And you can scan the QR code here to go to a website where you're able to see all the different scholarships. And on top of that, if you do have any financial aid like Florida Prepaid or Bright Futures, those different financial aid can apply towards the study abroad fees. So for those of you who may be having that different financial aid, you can apply it to study abroad. So then let's get into, so let's talk about the benefits. With studying abroad, I mean, you get to earn honors college credits while traveling. You know, you don't necessarily just spend all of your time sitting down in a classroom and learning about the information. Instead, you're experiencing it. So you're in the Louvre looking at the Mona Lisa. You're walking through Angkor Wat in Cambodia. And so you're getting to experience these things, reflect on them, and take that information with you. These programs are interdisciplinary, so it's not for any specific major or any track or anything. As long as you're an honors college student and meet the requirements, you can participate. And something else that we really do try to work on is that making sure that these are immersive experiences. So you are living like a local in Italy. You know, you're not staying maybe in a 5-star resort, but instead you're getting to see what the public transportation is like. How do people go to work every day? So those are the different things that you get to experience on a study abroad program. Also, something unique about honors college programs is that you are meeting with your professor and the students you're traveling with on a weekly basis in the spring semester leading up to your trip. So not all study abroad programs have that built in. So that's something unique about honors. And that's also the time where maybe you want to start talking to your classmates about, you know, what flight do you all want to get on? Or if you want to do an activity before going, all of those different things. And the people that you travel with, I mean, you're living with them while you're abroad. So you end up making some really great connections. And I can say for myself, I am definitely still in contact with my friends that I've studied abroad with. And that's something unique that we can always go back to. And maybe you're not thinking about this part, but studying abroad can also really impact, you know, like your career trajectory. This is something that you can add on your resume that you've experienced. And your professors that you're traveling with, they're, you know, traveling with you for a month. So they really get to know you. So those letters of recommendations that they write are very valuable because, you know, they get to see you in a classroom, but also how you are just on a daily basis while you're abroad. And so you're working on many skills that can attract different employers. I mean, you're going to be in a different place. So there's going to be maybe some critical thinking when you need to figure out what train to get on. Communication, and perhaps maybe you don't know the language of the place that you're going to. So you'll be learning how to navigate that situation. And then you're also traveling with a group of FIU students. So you're going to be learning how to work together and to really, you know, figure things out on the spot. Sometimes that happens with study abroad. So I also want to show with you all our Instagram page that we have. So you can see there, it's at FIU Honors Abroad. Our students have all returned from studying abroad this summer, but you can see on our Instagram kind of what they've been doing over the summer and also see, you know, start thinking about what program it is that you want to go to. So in my breakout session later on, I'll be able to talk to you a little bit more about the specifics on each program and also answer any questions that you may have.
All right,
but
so the
for
first thing we're going to be talking about are micro internships. All right, so what exactly is a micro internship? All right, so micro internships are paid short-term projects. They usually range from being paid about $200 to $800 for about 10 to 40 hours of work. Most of these micro internships can be done remotely, which is why there are such great opportunities. A lot of students have prior commitments such as volunteering, academics, extracurriculars. So this can be done alongside those other commitments that we have. All right, so here are some of the benefits. All of these projects are going to be paid, so they average at about $20 an hour. Like I said, most of these projects are remote. They are a great opportunity to expand your resume by developing those career-ready skills and competencies. It can also help you develop some of the skills that you already have. whether it be trying to dip your toes into something new or further developing something you have, these are great opportunities. You can evaluate companies for future job opportunities as well. So as you work with these companies, you might be like, oh, I like this company and I like how they work. And perhaps you can work towards having a more long-term job with them. This can also help you build professional networks. So as you get to know these companies and your employers, you can build your network. And this can also lead to, like I was kind of mentioning earlier, full-time jobs. And then these projects are also year-round and don't follow the academic calendar. So whether you are in school or not, you can always apply to these micro-internships. Here are some of the major projects that we have. We have like video content creation, website updates, competitor prospecting, marketing collateral, lead generation, and research. So all of these projects vary in the amount they're paid and how many hours it may take. But these are some of our most common opportunities in micro-internships. There are a lot of companies that do want to hire you. We have companies like Microsoft, Staples, Accenture. I've seen Amazon on there as well. So there is really a great variety of opportunities for you to look at. And then here is how you access and apply to these micro internships. So the platform that we use is called ParkerDUI. So you're going to want to log onto that platform using maybe the QR code and the link that you see down there. You're going to, if you haven't registered at least, you're going to register using your FIU credentials, so your FIU email. You're going to create a password that's best for you. And since you are all Honors College students, you're going to put your affiliation with the Honors College because it may get you some exclusive opportunities on the platform. Once you have registered and once you can log onto the platform, you can browse opportunities that are available that match the skills you want to develop or learn, and then you can apply. Here are some tips. So first, you're going to want to reflect on what skills you want to develop and why. Some of you may be wanting to learn some new skills, or some of you may want to develop skills that have to do specifically like with your major. So you're going to want to reflect on that and see what opportunities match your goals. You're going to browse projects that match those skills and match the goals that you have. You can definitely be open to developing new skills. These micro internships welcome students of basically any major. So if you want to dip your toes into something new, you're completely welcome to that. If you are uncertain about meeting any initial expectations, you have to address that immediately. If you do get stuck, you can definitely seek help. You can look at ParkerDUI's resources and micro lessons. They do have a lot of those. So if you need any help at any point in time with the application, how you're supposed to format something, ParkerDUI has a lot of resources for that. And before submitting a project, you're going to have someone check it for you and double check that it's good to go. Because sometimes while we're working on a project, we do see it so much that some things escape us. So it would be great to have someone double check it for you, and maybe they can catch something that you missed. And if not, it's perfect and you're good to go. All right, here are some of our most frequently asked questions. Can international students participate in micro internships? Yes, international students are eligible for micro internships through CPT, OPT, or a work visa. I will say that if you are an international student and want to apply to a micro internship, that micro internship has to be directly related to your major. So if you're doing something in like business, it has to be a micro internship that has to do with that, like marketing, something that's directly related so you don't have any issues. And if you do have further questions about this, you can definitely go to the International Student Office at FIU to confirm that you are eligible before applying. How do you get paid? So ParkerDUI handles paying career launchers directly. Once a project is completed, career launchers have the option of receiving a direct deposit or a physical check. This payroll is handed out monthly, and it will be handed out usually at the end of the month. So if you finish your project on May 18th, you'll be submitted for the May payroll and receive payment on the 31st of May. Can you apply to multiple projects at once? Yes, we do actually recommend applying to 2 to 3 projects that you find interesting to increase your chances of getting selected. All right, so we have a challenge for you guys today. So you're going to try and create your profile today and add your honors affiliation. Try to apply to about 3 projects before you go to bed tonight and hopefully complete 1 micro internship by the end of the summer. Summer is almost done, so you can definitely try completing one by the end of the fall semester. All right.
Is this micro internship mandatory?
A micro internship is not mandatory. No, we just recommend it to try and expand your resume. If you do have the chance to do it, it would be a great opportunity for you. All right, so the Honors College and career development. So there are kind of 4 steps that we focus on here. So first is knowing yourself. Then you're going to explore your options. You're going to get focused and take action. All right, one way that we try to prepare you guys is the Panther Career Readiness module. And if you guys do want to access this via FIU Develop, there is a QR code on the screen. If you do need to do this. If you are I will mention this, if you are a current FIU student that has recently been admitted to the Honors College, you probably have already done this and you don't need to do this again. This is only for incoming freshmen. I believe, yeah. All right, so the Panther Career Readiness module, the first step is to claim your Handshake account and complete your profile. So if you're an incoming freshman,
Wait,
you're
can
just
you go
going
back?
to- Incoming freshmen and incoming transfers. I wasn't sure about that, but yes, that Panther Career Readiness module, it applies for incoming freshmen and incoming transfers. If you are a current FIU student that got admitted to the FIU Honors College, you do not need to do this again. So for my freshmen and transfers, you're going to claim your Handshake account and complete that profile. For transfers, some of you may have a Handshake account already, but you're going to make another one and claim your Handshake account with FIU credentials. All right, so you're going to complete this Panther Career Readiness module through the FIU Develop portal. If you did want to access it, the QR code was on the last slide. Then you can visit My Florida Future for your major salary information. You can get some more insight into what your career may lead you into. And then affirmatively indicate you have been provided with the required information and understand the wage prospects for your chosen major. All right, so here's how to claim your Handshake account and complete your profile. So the QR code on the screen is a link to Handshake. All right, and if you guys need some time, we're going to leave that up a little bit. And then you're going to click FIU single sign-on login and enter your FIU credentials. You can check your FIU student email and confirm that it is your account and that you are going to claim it. And finally, you're going to complete your profile by adding work experiences, organizations, and skills that you may have. This is a great way to start networking, start looking into job opportunities, maybe internship opportunities. So I really recommend that you guys claim your Handshake account and start building up your profile as soon as possible. All right, so then you're going to complete the module via FIU Develop. This module takes about 2 hours or less. The progress can be saved, so that means you don't have to do it all in one sitting. If you guys are busy and do have to leave, your progress can be saved and you come back to it whenever you're able to. This can take 24 to 48 hours for the course to reflect as completed. And this is due by the end of fall semester, if I'm not mistaken. So for incoming freshmen and incoming transfers, if you have the chance to do this, I would do it as soon as possible and not leave it for last, because Like I said, it can take 24 to 48 hours to reflect as completed, and we don't want any issues with that. And it doesn't take too long, so don't worry about that either. All right, and then to get some more insight to your career, you can review your major salary via My Florida Future SUS dashboard. And then finally, to finish that module off, you're going to attest that you have completed the module. All right, here we are. If you do not complete the requirements in your first year, you will be unable to enroll for summer 2025 and fall 2025 courses. So you're going to want to complete it by the end of this semester, by the end of fall 2024. All right, here at the Honors College Career and Talent Development Center, we do have a lot of career coaching services. So we have career exploration, internship and job search, interview prep, mock interview, graduate school exploration, general career coaching. We have all of these. Plus we have a lot of workshops, meet and greets, headshots, lunch and learn with employers. We have our bi-weekly career newsletter, and we have industry talks with alumni and employers. We do a lot of these during our spring and fall semesters. So although we didn't have a lot of these workshops or our luncheons this semester, we will definitely be seeing more of those during the fall semester and the spring semester. So that's a great way for you guys to get to know more people from your major and get to know maybe future employers. So I definitely recommend you coming to these workshops and all of these events that we have. All right, we also utilize the VMOC Smart Career Platform. So I will mention that there is a different link depending on your major. So there's a link for all majors, there's a link for business majors, and there's a link for hospitality majors. And this is because you are under like different colleges in VMOC, and they have different resources for each of us. And I will say you should focus on the link that is yours. If you are a business or hospitality major, usually the all majors link will not work for you. So just be careful with that, because sometimes it just won't allow you to sign on. But the VMOC Smart Career Platform is very useful. It does have resume review, cover letter reviews. It helps you after reviewing your resume, it can help you optimize that resume. It has practice for the elevator pitch, and it has a lot of resources for mock interviews as well. All right, so if you need any more career resources, you can scan the QR code and be led to our website. So if you have any questions about that or need any extra resources or any questions that weren't answered here, you can definitely look at our website, and there will be a breakout session later where I can answer any questions that you guys have.
Thank you. Thank you, Mika. Now, Sophie's gonna talk to us about the honor student engagement and programs.
All right, hello everyone. Welcome to the Honors College. My name is Sophie. I'm the Engagement Program Manager here at the Honors College. And before I start, I'm about to post a few different links in the chat that I'll be referencing throughout my session. So feel free to, copy paste those for yourself, because everything that I'm about to tell you right now is in those pages that you see there. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so as Ezekiel was mentioning earlier when he was talking about the graduation requirements for honors, we do have annual engagement and service requirements that our honor students complete, and annual, so that means every year. I'll start by talking a little bit more about our engagement requirements, which are really there to influence you to complete activities, engage with the FAU community, use resources, and also connect more with your personal and professional goals. And then also our service requirements, which I'll talk about in a moment, are really there to make sure that you are connecting with our local community or your local community, wherever that may be, because we do have a lot of fully online students as well. So keep in mind that all of these requirements can be completed either virtually or in person. So let's start with engagement. So our engagement requirements are tracked on a website called Panther Connect. So I put the Panther Connect link there in the chat. It's one of the links that I shared. And you won't have access to this quite yet. It'll be similar to the coding process that Laura was mentioning earlier. As soon as you're coded as an honor student, you'll be enrolled in our engagement pathway in Panther Connect, and you'll be able to start tracking your engagement requirements. And you'll also get an email from me with all this information that I'm sharing right now. So if you forget something, you can always reference that email. So on Panther Connect, you will see our HC engagement pathway for the current academic year. And you will have from beginning of summer B to end of spring, every academic year to track your requirements. What this entails of is completing 11 activities across the 6 categories that you see here on the screen. So Honors College Week requires completion of just 1 activity. We host Honors College Week twice during the year, once in the fall, once in the spring. And we have a variety of events, including virtual events and evening events. So there's a lot of great options for you there. Next, we have our academics, research, and scholarship category, which requires completion of 2 activities. And we use activities because you can certainly complete events. So for example, you could attend an academic workshop, for instance, but you can also complete non-event activities. So for example, for this category, you could meet with a professor during office hours, or you could use our writing center on campus, or even conduct research of your own. Then we have, excuse me. And then we have our career and professional development category. Sorry, I'm losing my voice. I'm not sure why. Laura, would you mind jumping in for a moment?
Yes. So next we have the career and professional development, which you can do by doing by meeting with the career specialist, going to career and talent development, doing an internship, or if you're currently working right now, that's another way to satisfy that category. We also have the leadership as well. And we have the personal and social wellness, which is a very broad category for our students. And we have the world and culture. So let's move on. We have the engagement requirements. And so how can you obtain them, right? You can obtain.
I think I can take it back. Thank you so much, Laura.
You're
Sorry
welcome.
about that, everyone. Not sure what happened there, but yes, so thank you, Laura, for going over the categories. So just to recap, Honors College Week requires 1 activity and the other categories require 2. So we'll go to the next slide. So in terms of engagement, if you are attending an event, typically you're going to check in during that event and receive credit that way. And if it's a non-event activity, you would submit documentation through Panther Connect. I also included our newsletter link in the chat. In our weekly newsletter, we share a variety of events and activities and opportunities. And you can also find opportunities on your own. Sometimes maybe a professor is emailing you, or maybe you might find things through social media. So you can always email us to ask about how that can apply. So for right now, I'm going to give you a couple of minutes to first just create a Panther Connect profile, because that will help us when we are adding you to the pathway. So I'm going to give you 1 or so minutes to go to pantherconnect.fiu.edu and just log in with your FIU credentials and create your profile. So let's pause here for a moment while you do that. opportunities in the pathway throughout the academic year. So once you are enrolled in the pathway, just keep checking back for more opportunities. Okay, I think we can go to the next slide. All right, so then we have our service requirements. So service is a little bit more straightforward. We don't have categories. So what service entails is completing 20 volunteer hours every academic year. And we do use a different website to track service. It's called GivePulse. And I did include that link there in the chat as well, fiu.givepulse.com. So for our volunteer hours, they can be completed anywhere, even virtually. So we do have virtual service opportunities that we share via our newsletter. And GivePulse has an Explore feature as well that does include some virtual volunteer opportunities. Volunteer hours don't need to be related to FIU and can also include more than traditional community service. Basically anything that is unpaid can count as volunteering. It's your responsibility to log your hours into GivePulse, and keep in mind that those hours do need to be verified by someone. So whether that is a volunteer coordinator, or maybe if you have documentation of your service, we can verify that for you. So if you do have that documentation, you're able to include that in your impacts. The only thing to keep in mind is that we do not accept donations in exchange for volunteer hours, because volunteering must reflect actual time spent. So just like with Panther Connect, we're going to give you a head start right now to start creating your profiles, because that will help us when we are then going to add you into the honors group in GivePulse. So take a moment, visit fiu.givepulse.com and log in with your FIU credentials. And we'll pause here for a second. All right, we can go to the next slide. Okay, so in addition to engagement and service requirements, we do have engagement opportunities that are exclusive to honors students, some of which include our honors student organizations, which you can see here on the screen. Definitely joining an organization is a great place to start with your engagement journey. So you can visit our website to check out the different clubs that we have. And we also host a club fair as part of Honors College Week. So that is one of the many events that you can join there. Next slide, please. Thank you. Another great engagement opportunity that we have is our Honors College Edge Lab. It is a maker space. We have locations in OE and Parkview. You can use this for personal projects, for class projects, but you can also volunteer at the Edge Lab and get some volunteer hours through that process. So let's say you're really passionate about 3D printing and you want to help other students with their 3D printing needs. You can volunteer, you can have a leadership position at the Edge Lab and help students that way. So just to recap, in terms of engagement and service requirements, and again, you'll receive this information from me again later on. Engagement and service are completed every academic year, even if you have completed your honors courses, and tracking can be done from beginning of summer B to end of spring. Graduating students typically receive a different specific deadline before the end of their graduation semester to give us a little bit more time to process. So always remember to check your student emails, because we share that information via email. If you do not complete engagement and service, it could result in a couple of things. If it's a non-graduation year, this would result in receiving delayed priority registration. So what this means is that honor students who complete engagement and service, as a reward, they get to register before everyone else. And if it is a graduation year, that would result in not receiving your honors transcript notation, because again, as Ezekiel mentioned earlier, engagement and service requirements are a required part of your graduation process. If you happen to be graduating during a fall semester, you do have the opportunity of getting your requirements cut in half for that year, provided that you've completed the previous year's engagement and service requirements. So as long as you've been consistent with completing everything, if you do graduate in a fall semester, you do have that option of getting your requirements cut in half. And I mentioned emails for a reason. You will receive progress report emails throughout the academic year, typically once at the end of fall and then later on in spring to help you monitor your progress. So please make sure to check on that for more information. And a couple of tips for you all. So first, remember to focus on documenting things that you're already doing first. So if you already have a job, you can get that career credit. If you already have a leadership position, you can get that leadership credit. If you're already volunteering in your community, you can document those volunteer hours. And once you have an idea of everything that you're doing, and if you see where that credit is applied, you can then fill in the gaps. And remember that engagement goes beyond events. It includes resources and a lot of non-event activities. So hopefully that can help you in your tracking process as well. Of course, help is always available, so just make sure to reach out to us. The email that you see there, HC Engage, is where you can reach us with any questions. And my main tip for you is to start early. Even if you are starting your classes only in the fall, Summer B this year started June 17th. So if there's anything that you've already done this year in terms of volunteering or engagement from June 17th onwards, you could definitely receive some retroactive credit. Just email us and we can help you. Remember, you have from beginning of Summer B to end of spring. So it's almost a full calendar year there. The earlier you start, the more choices you will have, and the less stress the experience of tracking would be. So when in doubt, next slide, please. Always remember that we are here to help. Feel free to contact us if you want some more individualized support, and we'll help you from there.
Thank you, Sophie.